Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Basketball Feed channel. Today we are going to be doing something special. Why special, do you say? Today is going to be the first bit of NBA playoffs basketball content, and we're going to start with predicting the play-in winners from who's gonna win the 9 and 10 seed uh matches to who's gonna actually make the playoffs. A lot is going to be coming into this video analysis. If teams actually want to win the play-in, is it worth winning the play-in for some teams and others maybe not? We'll be speaking about it in today's video. If you like the video, subscribe to the channel. Let's get into this deep dive. Okay, so we're actually going to be doing the prediction by the time the games are being played, not by conferences. So we're not going to start with the Eastern Conference and then go on to the Western Conference. Just easier because that's how I'm reading it right now. So first up, we have the Hornets versus the Heat. So Charlotte Hornets versus the Miami Heat. Now, looking at, the previous records of each team, the Hornets are on a roll. We all know that, their last game they beat the New York Knicks 96 to 110. You know, they've been on a roll, one of the hardest teams in the league. The Heat have been an up and down team. You know, most of us here, me and you, including us, we thought that after that Bam 82-point game that they were low-key gonna go on a roll. And I won't lie, I was low-key expecting, Bam to put up some other crazy stat line, but obviously it is very unlikely. But they did win the final game by a landslide, 143 to 117. And, I'm not going to say it looks promising, but they are 43 and 39, which is above 500. And, being above 500 and the 10th seed is insane. That's like actually crazy. It hasn't, I don't know how long it hasn't happened for, but, the Heat on the team they messed with, they were in a playoff berth a few weeks ago. But for this matchup, I am predicting the Charlotte Hornets to beat the Miami Heat because of the shooting prowess, purely because of the shooting prowess of the Charlotte Hornets. They have Conor Ball. The middle ball just needs to stay healthy. If he stays healthy and Conor Ball is there, they can easily challenge for the eighth seed. Which means I have the Miami Heat just fully getting knocked out of the play-in. The next game on the same day, which is for me is going to be a Wednesday, but most people watching this is going to be Tuesday night. Next up, we have a Western Conference matchup: the Phoenix Suns versus the Portland Trailblazers. This is a very interesting matchup because the Trailblazers, especially the Trailblazers, and me as a Warriors fan, I know that the Trailblazers are a very hard team to gauge because the Trailblazers could easily blow you out. Like that's the thing with the Warriors. We couldn't play against them because they kept on shooting threes and kept on making threes. They're part of those teams. I'm not gonna say bad, but I will say bad because I'm trying to explain the point. They're part of those like bad teams. For example, the Brooklyn Nets, the Washington Wizards. Their philosophy is just shoot threes and hopefully we make them. That's their philosophy. They'll shoot any type of through ball. That's why it's a very hard team to coach to success because they can get hot anytime. That's the thing with the Trailblazers. And they have a star like Denny Avia, who was an all-star. Shaden Sharp, he's hooping, coming to his own. He is a little bit inconsistent. Tumani Kamara is a defensive menace and he's also improved his three-point shot. But the Phoenix Suns, I feel they're more absolute. What I mean by absolute is I'm more likely to predict them winning this matchup than the Trailblazers, even though I know what the Trailblazers are capable of. So with that being said, I'm picking the Phoenix Suns to go on and play the second seeded San Antonio. In fact, I don't think any of these West teams have a chance. 9, 10 seeds have a chance against the Oklahoma City Thunder and the San Antonio Spurs, respectively. Those teams are just juggernauts. But Devin Booker is a dog. He's a hooper. Dylan Brooks has been amazing. This is his best season ever. And if they can run a good offense and defense against the Trailblazers, they can win easily. And they're at home. It plays a really huge role. No matter like even though it doesn't play as much as a role in like other sports, it does play a role here. And that means that we will be seeing, according to my prediction, the Hornets play either the 76ers or the Orlando Magic, and the Trailblazers to play either Clippers or Warriors. So I have the Phoenix Suns going through to play the second seed San Antonio Spurs, and the Hornets have another chance to stay alive. Next up, we have the 76ers versus the Magic. Philadelphia versus Orlando. And I'll be honest, this might not only be me, it might be other people. This is probably the least interesting one because these teams are genuinely like, what do I say about these teams? But then the issue with these teams is that this is the seventh and eighth ranked team in the Eastern Conference table, which means that they were pretty good. They had a chance to actually make the playoffs, especially the Sixers. They were one win short of the Hawks as well as the Magic, but like it couldn't really happen. But I feel like, especially for the Magic, it has been a really disappointing season, especially for Paolo Banchero. I feel like they should have been doing better. They let a team like the Atlanta Hawks, who didn't really have an identity at some point. Obviously, they have an identity now, but like that's your opportunity. You traded for Desmond Bain, and you gave them like I don't know, like 4 or 5 picks. You gave Memphis 4 or 5 picks or something, which is really wild. And now all of that just so your season is held in the balance. To be fair, they do still have two opportunities, but my prediction, I feel like I don't know if Joel Embiid is going to be there. I know Tyrese Maxey and VJ Eshkin are going to be there, but I feel like the power is just going to be too strong. The 76ers are going to win that matchup, which means the 76ers are going to get the Boston Celtics in the second seed. And I'll be honest, the Boston Celtics are going to sweep them. Let's be real. Like, no disrespect to the Pistons, they're the first seed, right? They're a 60-win team, right? But I'm more confident in the the this team, this 76ers team. I'm more confident in this 76ers team getting one win against the Detroit Pistons than the Boston Celtics. First of all, Boston has Jason Tatum back. They have a nice fluid system. Like it is insane. They can play offense and defense at a very high level. Pistons, it's weird because they're a very good defensive team, but sometimes offensively, you want Cade Cunningham to get more threes up, Jalen Green to attack the rim. Obviously, he's been doing that, and that's why they are a 60-win team. But I'm more confident in them getting one win against the Pistons than the Celtics. In fact, they might be better off playing the Pistons. Like the Celtics is like genuinely hellbound because the Celtics were not meant to be good. The thing with the Celtics is that they were not meant to be good, and now it's like okay. So now you've put us in the deep waters here, where we either, play probably the best team in the East going into the playoffs. Obviously, the Pistons have the best record, but I feel like the Celtics are going to be the favorites to come out of the East purely because of that playoff, prestige. And it has been proven before. Even though, the Knicks have their number, but it was only one series. Let's calm down. And, things happened. But yeah, 76ers to go through, I guess. Last but not least, for this section at least, we have the Los Angeles Clippers versus the Golden State Warriors. Now, I have a lot of things to say about this part because, first of all, the Warriors are my team. Been watching them for a while, and it has been depressing as hell. As soon as Jimmy Butler went down, that was basically our season, and then Steph Curry got injured constantly, and that was definitely our season. And now Moses Moody, who is arguably our most versatile player, is gone indefinitely. It is rough. But here is very interesting because first of all, everybody knows this. When you have Stephen Curry, anything is possible. Anything can happen at any given moment. But you're in a predicament where do you want to save yourself, but you jeopardize the league, or do you want to just have the chance to do something special? Because if the Warriors win both matchups in the ninth and tenth, play or not play in game and the eighth seed playing game. Then you have to face OKC, which is not a very, very difficult challenge. And they're gonna play Stephen Curry insanely difficult, which means that someone else is gonna have to beat you. Who's gonna beat you? Brandon Pajemski. No disrespect to Brandon Pajemski. He's a good player, but he's not the caliber of, oh, I can create stuff by myself. Yes, he can create his own shots, but you need someone like a Stephen Curry to really carry the load. Now this is where the predicament comes. That roster is depleted. Do you maybe just say, you know what? Let's just lose this game. We're out of the playoffs, but let's go get a pick. And you know what I'm thinking about? Yaxel Lindenberg. Yaxel Lindenberg could land to the Golden State Warriors. In fact, the Golden State Warriors could even go up. They could move up in the draft, and they could get a higher player that could potentially help them next season. As Stephen Curry is fully fit, as everyone becomes fully fit. Jimmy Butler's still going to be injured. Moses Moody's out. But, you have a roster construction that genuinely might be smarter than actually making the playoffs, getting bounced by OKC and earning nothing. To me, it seems like the smarter option, but obviously, I want to see my team in the playoffs. That's just a me thing because, I don't like losing. But it might be an investment for the future because we don't really have that many future pieces. Jordan Poole is gone. Jonathan Kuminga, our best player right now is Pajemski for the future. And he's a bit iffy. He's shown flashes of his potential, but he's a bit up and down. Now the thing is, right, if we do go on and win this game, it means that the Los Angeles Clippers will indeed have to give up their pick. In fact, they've already given it up. So basically, how it works, right, is if the Clippers make the playoffs, then their first round pick is limited to 15 position max, which is still, it's still pretty high, but that's like middle ground. If they lose the play-in at any point, if they don't make the playoffs, that pick is a lottery pick, and that is very dangerous for the league because it means that the OKC get that pick. Now, I don't know about you, but I know that the draft is very weird. Strange things have happened in this draft. And if OKC go on and get this this pick, this high pick, right? A lot of dangerous things could happen. Because OKC could go many ways. They could just say, F it, we are going to draft AJ Divaca. We have the first pick. Because, like, so if that happens, right? Or it could even mean we don't care, we're the best team in the league, right? Let's go get Giannis. If Giannis, we cannot let Giannis go into OKC. If Giannis lands into OKC, those dudes are going to be unstoppable, which is crazy. Because, like, first of all, the spacing for Giannis is going to be insane. Because how are you going to help on Giannis and Shea's just, out there, at the perimeter, even in the, the paint, and you have all these shooters, Isaiah Joe, Ludo. In fact, actually, no, Ludo might get traded. He had to be in the package, and I also feel like J Dub would have to be in the package. You have players like Shea, Giannis, and Chet Holmgren with that lineup. That might honestly be deadly. It might be detrimental to the league. The league actually might have to make changes because they don't want a repeat of these things happening again. So like it's a very interesting situation. But who do I have winning here? I'll be honest, the Warriors have no life. That's it. I want to say the Warriors win, but I feel like if the Warriors win, Portland is gonna beat them anyway. So that's just me. But I'm gonna say the Clippers to win the ninth and 10th seed play-in game. Next up, we have our 8th seed matchups. So whoever wins gets played, the first seed of the conference, basically. And obviously, I said, Hornets and Suns would win their games, right? So which meant the Hornets have a chance to play the one-seeded Detroit Pistons. So the games that essentially will be happening according to my predictions would be the Charlotte Hornets versus the Orlando Magic. And there, that one's just going to be easy for me. The Charlotte Hornets would win that game. I wouldn't say it was a blowout, but I would say, there's a 10-point lead in there. The Charlotte Hornets just look too energetic. And we all want to see a Detroit Pistons versus Charlotte Hornets playoff series because that shit, it would generally feed families. Like, it'll be a crazy series to watch. LaMelo Ball will be in his first playoff series, Conquerable as well. Brandon Miller, Musa Diabate, all Kalkenbrenner, like all these youngins basically in their first playoff series against a notable team that they've had beef with before. Same with the Detroit Pistons. They had a bit of playoff experience last year, obviously playing the Knicks in a 3 to 6 seed matchup in the first round, but it'll be absolute cinema to watch these two teams go at it. And genuinely, fights might break out in that game because, they have a lot going on between them. Next, we have the Los Angeles Clippers versus Trailblazers. I think the Los Angeles Clippers, have this matchup. I'm not going to say they have it easily because anything can happen. I've already spoken about the Trailblazers' ability to get hot in an instant, but I feel like the Los Angeles Clippers really got it like that, man. And they went on a run. They went on that run, not Lou Williams, the coach, I forgot his name. I'm blanking out, but the Clippers coach said, they will go on a run after the recent slumps, and a run they did go on to. They're almost, kind of similar to the Charlotte Hornets, how they went through a run. So I feel like they're gonna carry that momentum and they're gonna win that matchup, meaning that we will see the Clippers play the Oklahoma City Thunder. We'll see the San Antonio Spurs play the Phoenix Suns. Charlotte Hornets play Detroit, and we will see the 76ers play Boston Celtics. Next, obviously, hopefully after the playoff play-in stuff happens, we'll see how they match up and we'll see if our predictions are, right. Okay, so that is basically it for the predictions part. Uh, I'm interested to see, how these games play out. I'll be watching them. I'll try to watch them. They are late, like in the morning, because I live in a different continent and everything, and time zones are different. But you know, it's gonna be a very interesting set of games for the NBA fans to watch. And hopefully the playoffs will be amazing too. I'll be making playoff content. Obviously after this play-in bracket happens, I'll be making a playoff bracket. I'll be making my official NBA playoffs brackets and who will win the championship stuff and what will happen. So stay tuned for that. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed the video, subscribe to the channel, like the video. Go check out the other videos. Keep your eyes peeled for playoff content coming soon. I'll see you guys next time.